Okay guys, just wanted to make this quick video because I wanted to show you one of the new Bravo Polymer M4s. These are relatively new to the market. They're going to come in at about the, I think it's like $120 price mark, directly competing with the Lancer Tactical series of guns, just a tad lower than the actual G&G combat machines, which is, in my opinion, the best budget gun for like a beginner or stuff like that. But a lot of questions were raised as to who is actually making these, because the price point is so similar and the models are so similar to the Lancer Tacticals. Like, are they the same gun? So I acquired one from a source who wanted me to look it up and see, or open one of these up and see just what is in one of these. And so a couple things tipped me off that this is a gun made by dboys. Besides the internal stuff, which I'll get to later, just some stuff on the outside. The actual plastic is a very sort of weak and, well, I don't want to say, well, yeah, it's weak. It's a weak and bendy sort of ABS. It does feel a tiny bit sturdier on the outside than the Lancer Tacticals. That might be for a couple reasons, but another thing that I noticed is the actual markings on the gun right here, this BY and then the serial number right there. That's tipping me off that this is a dboys gun, because on their full metal guns that I've seen, like the RAS-2 and stuff like that, they have these same markings, and obviously you have some Bravo trademarks right here to mark it as their own, made in China, pretty generic stickers. But I mean, I don't know if you can see, the plastic is, you know, relatively cheap, and it's not the nice, strong, sturdy ABS plastic. It makes sort of a hollow knocking sound. Let's see, moving on to the insides, I just actually opened this gun up. The motor is just a very simple gray can Chinese motor. I'm pretty sure this is a Chowli equivalent, D-type pinion at the top. Nothing special there. On the inside, let's take a look at this. First of all, I want to say that I was actually pretty pleased with the actual greasing of the gun. I mean, granted, there's a lot of grease on the inside, but this, whatever grease they're using, this, I don't know if it's silicone or Teflon based, but it's not that typical sort of brownish, nasty stuff. I'm pretty sure that's what was in the Lancer Tactical that I opened up. I don't quite remember, but the actual grease in this gun resembles a lot Super Lube that I use a lot, which, and see if I got a bottle of it here, but it's sort of this opaque, clearish grease, like right here. The actual, I mean, I haven't tested compression. I just opened this up, but I mean, everything is pretty, you know, standard. The bevel gear right here. What I was pleased to see is that there's actually a couple good, strong ARL notches instead of just like 4 that you would see on a JG. The gear teeth right here are resemblant of like a G&G style or original TM style bevel gear. I personally like the ones that go all the way to the middle and are a little bit more angled, but you know, these will probably work fine. The actual bearings on the gun right here are these sort of encased 7mm bearings. This is a 7mm gearbox gun. See, the gun does come with a sector clip right here with an enlarged sort of tappet cam, which is nice. Let's see. The actual tappet plate itself is that nice sort of flexible, cream-colored tappet plate, plastic material. I haven't tested the shimming of the gun. I actually didn't shoot the gun before I opened it up, because I'm going to do some changes to the internal parts, including a reshim. It does come with a plastic bearing spring guide, which is kind of nice. Just the fact that they added bearings in there. I mean, I was expecting like a full plastic spring guide with no bearings, but you know, that's kind of nice that they added these thrust bearings at the bottom there. The spring, I think, is equivalent to like an M110, something like that. Really short, really short, typical of dboys stuff. The piston is identical to the one that I pulled out of the Lancer Tactical, with the dboys blue piston head right here, greased up, cream colored piston, second tooth removed, which is nice. The AOE on this gun is not perfect, but it was, you know, acceptable for this kind of gun. Let's see what else is in here. Moving on to the top piece right here, there's a good amount, let me see if I can get it over here. There's a good amount of reinforcement along the back, very typical of the dboys and other ACM style guns. Let's see, I was not able to take a look at the stock hop-up chamber, but from what I was told by the person that owns this gun, it was a clear plastic, typical of what dboys is using in their guns right now. It also comes with a air nozzle, which is very similar to the other ones I've seen. Air seal, I've not tested the air seal, I have to do that later. Everything else is pretty standard. Very, very thin 18 gauge looking wire right here. Wire is actually, if you take a look at there, pinched in between the gearbox when it was assembled. Not a huge deal, but you know, well, it is sort of a big deal, but not, I wouldn't say at this price point it's not a huge deal. It's certainly cause for concern, but not at this price point, because what are you really expecting for what you're paying here? Let me think, is there anything else that I'm forgetting here? The anti-reversal latch over here, very, very typical Chinese quality, solid. I think that's it. I just wanted to go over a brief overview. I'm going to be doing something similar to what I did on the Lancer Tactical I upgraded earlier. Pretty almost identical, actually, as far as the internal, so you should see about the same performance benchmark. Let's see, I think that's it. So, oh, one thing I wanted to mention on this gun. I actually thought there was a crack on the outside of the gearbox right here, this hole, because it's a very rough sort of painted over hole, but it's actually there on purpose, like it's drilled on the other side. I believe this is for a bolt catch assembly. The bolt catch would go right here, the spring notches in right there, hooks over this, and goes into there, so it's similar to my own personal dboys gearbox that I used to have. But everything else, yeah, so if anyone tells you that the new Bravo polymer guns are not made by dboys, I wouldn't believe them. I'm 99% sure this is the same company. I mean, I'm not sure all the inner dealings of those companies and who actually makes what, but this is about on par with what I pulled out of the Lancer Tacticals. So just take that with a grain of salt if you're ever considering getting one of these. Not to say that these are bad guns, they're just, you know, you get what you pay for. And typical Chinese internals with subpar sort of Chinese externals. So let me know what you guys think. One other thing, if you guys want any, you know, tutorials, videos, discussions, breakdowns, let me know in the comment section below, or just, you know, shoot me a PM or whatever, and I'll see what I can do for that. Anyway, later guys.